Okay, so have you been on Instagram yet today?
No, what did you do? Hang on. Thank
How I want to introduce you to the world and as the woman who somehow persuaded me to say yes to showing a horse I had never ridden before. So that has to take some kind of superpower. But before we get into your superpowers, I think maybe we should just start with how we know each other. I like how you tell the story.
well, my name's Susie Fleetstra, and I met you about 11 or 12 years ago at a horse industry kind of symposium when you tried to sell me a hat that I had actually manufactured, and you were a fabulous salesperson. And at the same moment, I looked at you and realized who you were, and you looked at me and realized who I was. I think we just decided that we would be friends, and we have been, and it's been a really neat developing friendship over the years.
It was. I just remember sitting there and you saying nice hat or something to that effect, and I was like, I love this hat and this hat is so great and all this stuff. And I remember you going like, name tag.
Exactly how I remember it.
you
Yeah,
you kind of made this hat. I see. I see where we're going.
yeah.
Who is Lia? Because all of a sudden everybody's going to start seeing these hashtag Team Lia. So it's not even just who is Lia. That's right. Your hat.
I got my swag, Lia swag.
Shirt today. I don't know. Mine's got dressage on it. What's yours have
Lia
on it?
swag.
So
Lia
all of a
swag.
sudden, people that are following me are gonna start seeing all this hashtag Team Lia, and I love, love, love. One of the things I'll tell you to answer my own question that got me on board with this is the idea that it's a team thing. I
Mhm.
love the idea that this is like Team Lia. So short story, because we're definitely gonna go into like unpacking who Lia is over the next couple of months until we get to our big thing. So the who is Lia and how this team Lia thing come up for you?
Um, so Lia is a 6-year-old Haflinger mare. Her registered name is Aurelia of Genesis. The breeder has Genesis as a suffix on all their horses. I bought her about 2 years ago. I don't know why, but I decided I needed a Haflinger. I did some research. I found some interesting people. I found this neat little mare, and I bought her. And now she's turned into like this sort of, golden diva of Haflingerness. And I I thought maybe I had one big horse show left in me, and it turned out to be with Lia. And I had a friend who I've known for a long time, a trainer out in California, who I asked to help me with Lia, and she did, and they got along great. And we thought, maybe we could take her to the Haflinger National Show, which is a big deal when you're in California, and it's in Kentucky. So we started scheming and planning on that. And then my trainer friend, whose name's Mikey Harshall, she said, I know somebody that might be kind of cool to show her in the youth classes. So Delaney came on board. Then she said, they have an adult walk trot division. McKenna, who's Mikey's daughter, she might be good to show her. So let's see if she rides her and likes her. So McKenna came on board. Then we thought we might drive Lia because we thought she drove and we didn't know much about it. So through friends of Mikey's, we met Joanne and Christy, who are the driving part of Team Lia. So they came on board. Then my friend Julie said she'd drive to Kentucky with me, and she had a Jack Russell Terrier. And then we saw there was a carriage dog class. So naturally, Julie ended up showing Lia. So Team Lia is just, I call this my Briar horse girl fantasy of having this really cute little horse. It's gentle and broke and can do a bunch of stuff. And I share her with my friends. And it's a very dynamic and growing group of women, which now includes you.
Yay. I know. It was fun because just to clarify, you're in California right now as we speak and where you live, and
Yes.
I'm in Ohio, and you
Yes.
were coming to Kentucky. So I was like, for sure, coming down and visiting was going to
Yes.
happen. So I got to kind of know the Team Lia thing from that. And then Lia stayed in the Midwest so that she could go do her breed. I'm going to let you take over. What's it?
Yeah. So my two goals for Lia this summer were to try and take her to the national show if we thought she'd be a contender, and she developed well for that. And then also to try and have her do the Haflinger breed inspection, which is similar to a warm blood curing, where there are standards in the breed and inspectors who are noted horsemen, and they present young people are presenting their young horses, usually young horses, to them. and they are judged against breed type and characteristics and issued some kind of an award or level of proficiency compared to breed types, let's say. And Haflingers don't do it very often, but they were going to have one a few weeks after the Kentucky show. There was going to be one in Ohio. So I was able to reach out to Lia's original breeder, a man named John Dunkel of Genesis Haflingers, therefore the Genesis in Lia's name, and ask if he would consider fitting her for that event. And he did. So after the Lexington show, Lia went home to Michigan, and then John brought her back to Ashland, Ohio for her inspection. And now she's at your house. So it's like Lia's world tour.
That's actually what we were talking about, because she's really chill in the stall. Mm-hmm. But it kind of makes sense because she's sort of got her own tour going on. So she's used to different hotel rooms and moving around.
Yeah. I mean, it's the green room to her. She's just fine. She doesn't care. She's a really neat horse. And I don't know that much about Haflingers, but I'm learning. And of course, every horse has its own personality, but a lot of the horses in the breed are just kind of casual about life. And she's got a lot of those characteristics, which makes it possible to do this kind of crazy world tour that this is not a normal thing to do with a horse. And she's 6 years old. The national show was her third horse show, third horse show under saddle. And she just sort of whistled a happy tune and went about her work. So it's really been fun. We have a neat horse and the Team Lia concept, which is just having horse show fun with my friends. It's really, really a dream come true.
It's been fun to watch. And now I kind of jump into the story, like, I don't know, 24 hours before Lia comes into my barn. Like, Susie's like, I have an idea, which, forewarned, I've been around you enough to know that your ideas generally tend to be big. And so, and good ideas, but very funny because I was like, uh-oh, what's Susie going to do? And so you kind of go, would you like to tell them what you've
yeah. Lia showed with Mikey and McKenna. Lia showed at the Haflinger National Show in Western Dressage, and she did really well. She scored well, and she's very kind of precise and obedient as an under saddle horse. And the judge for those events at the Haflinger National Show had suggested we consider taking her to the Western Dressage Association World Championships, which is in Oklahoma City at the end of September. We thought that was really fun. But then Mikey found out she had a conflict with a lot of her other clients and a show they really needed to go to. And I thought, gosh, what else can I do with this Haflinger? It'd be super neat to take her to that show, but I don't have anybody to ride her. And then, well, I sort of started thinking about Stacy, and because I know that you had shown in Western Dressage some, and that you were sort of interested in it. I didn't know if you were planning on going anyways. So I lured you over to the Haflinger inspection, where you got to see this gorgeous mare. And then I sort of sprung it on you, and you fell for it. It was great.
You fell for it. That's pretty much how I'd say that's right. That sounds about right. And so, yeah, back on my side, I've shown in it, I think technically twice. Like I showed in it probably 2.5 years ago. I'd have to look it up, at just a schooling show down in Kentucky. And it was like, I've never done this before. Let's go in and give it a try. And then I did one actual like Western Dressage, like where it actually was like a show where I dressed up earlier this spring. So it was interesting because to have you kind of pop that question on me, it was like, I'd had the show in September penciled into my calendar so that I knew I was trying to kind of keep it open, but I wasn't really committing to it. And I think you gave me 12 to 24 hours. I can't really remember which way it was, but it was somewhere along there to commit. And so, which was great because, sometimes you just need that friend who will just kind of say, are you doing it? Yes or no? And so I'm excited, but it was, I think over the next few weeks, as we do more of these, we'll be able to unpack more of, I don't know, what I was experiencing doing that and saying that, because it has been probably 10 years since I showed anybody else's horse. I usually just show my own at this point, let alone to say, sure, I'll show a horse I've never thrown a leg over till today. She rode good today. Got some little video clips I'll lay in here, but she rode well. And so it'll be interesting to see, what goes on in the next couple of months, but also to kind of unpack some of the thinking that we both have that I think might be unique and worth talking about.
Well, it just seems sort of like this whole Team Lia adventure is a lot of neat spontaneous things happening. And again, it's playing with my horse with my friends. And I'm just delighted that it's working out for you. And I don't know if I pushed you or you jumped into committing for this show and event. But it's just sort of a Team Lia thing that neat things keep kind of lining up sort of spontaneously, a bit serendipitously. And it'll be really fun. The horse is gentle, the horse is broke, and you have a horse that's a more advanced horse that you were kind of thinking of taking anyway. So this becomes like the crazy girl road trip. And I think we learn a lot together. Looking forward to it.
I agree. This morning as I was riding them around, I took a little picture of them kind of side by side and thought, we have to come up with some kind of thing because they both have this golden base, but I've kind of got this dark and light theme going on with their color thing. So Susie,
well, between the two of us, we'll figure something out, because, you know, a lot of this is, yes, there's a horse show involved, but it's also from the early days when we met and we enjoyed kind of acting as a sounding board for each other and bouncing some marketing ideas off each other. One of my motivations with this whole Haflinger adventure, I think, is as I'm learning about these neat little horses, to kind of share what I'm learning with other people. I think the Haflinger breed is poised right now to enjoy some real growth with what I call myself and what I think is an important demographic in the horse business, and that's the older and wider rider. So I'm having my horse do some stuff at shows and getting a nicer and nicer horse for me to enjoy, and involving friends and kind of sharing our positive adventures with others. It's just a win-win-win. It's really fun. I'm stunned and delighted with how it's going.
I'm looking forward. Thank you for inviting me onto Team Lia.
And thank you for accepting.
Very good. Well, let's plan on talking again next week.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Stacy.
So she makes an appearance in stories today.
Okay, let's see.
It's the first time that I rode her, so it was kind of cute.
Was she okay?
Yeah, she was a little bit like, who are you? It was very funny because I do groundwork, you know, and she was like, what? And then she was like, oh, I'm fine with it. But it was just cute because she was like, because I'll jump and stuff, and she was like, what in the world's wrong with this one? Like,
a little concerned about you.
Exactly.
Okay.